faithfully delivering value and interpreting great books worldwide. Hi, this is Sally with Book Talk. Today, we're diving into the book Precise Expression. Its subtitle is Making Your Proposal Win Hearts Quickly. In the workplace, folks often need to submit proposals, like salespeople creating marketing plans for big clients. At tech firms, product managers submit strategy plans. Come year end, mid managers present reports and outline next year's arrangements. Yeah, that's all about submitting proposals. Submitting a proposal isn't just filling forms mechanically, it's about organizing thoughts, writing it up, and presenting it. The book's author calls this workplace written communication skills, precision expression. This book teaches how to boost your written communication at work so your proposals succeed. It's been a bestseller in Japan for over a decade and is a go to book for foreign consultancies and corporate training. The author, Taka Takahisa, worked at top consulting firms for years, and consulting's key task is providing strategic proposals to clients. So he's got tons of experience in proposal submissions. From practice, he found that great proposals have two essentials: solid thinking and precise expression. All right, we'll explore the book based on these two parts. First up, how to think logically and craft a tight proposal. Many folks blame their poor proposal delivery on weak expression skills, so they join speech workshops. But Takata believes the real issue isn't how you say it, it's not knowing what to say. Recall those confusing proposal moments. Your mind's full of info, you can't tell what matters, so you dump it all. That's illogical. So, how do we organize content logically? We need to think in two ways: vertical logic and horizontal logic. Vertical logic means cause and effect. For example, because last month's performance was poor, we need to find out why sales dropped and make adjustments. Or because new policies were recently introduced, the company's strategic direction will need adjustments again. So, in expressing causal relationships through vertical logic, we need to pay special attention to three issues. The first issue is to clearly articulate the hidden premises in your mind. What does that mean? Take a simple example. In a proposal, you suggest to your boss, we worked with company A before, so let's, partner with them again this time. This is a statement that hides underlying premises. Because when you make this judgment, it's not just based on past cooperation alone. You also have these two considerations in mind. First, Company A's production scale has been expanding recently, and their efficiency is improving. Second, for this collaboration, your company has a large order volume and tight deadlines. You could say that among all partners, Company A is the best choice. But if you don't share these considerations with your boss, they'll likely think your basis is weak and your judgment rash, naturally questioning your proposal. Things to note in vertical logic. The second issue is not to mix things of different natures. Some things that seem similar can be vastly different, and mixing them leads to unsound conclusions. For example, if you say in a proposal that ancient style peripheral products will have great prospects, that's an inaccurate statement because ancient style is just a concept. Its peripheral products include many types, like ancient style cosmetics, Hanfu clothing, stationery, and cultural creative products. These products target different needs, different customers, and have different sales channels. You can't generalize or oversimplify. So, things to note in vertical logic. The third issue is to distinguish between accidental phenomena and inevitable patterns. For instance, you see that the Palace Museum's Taobao shop is doing great with very hot market responses. So you suggest the company follow the trend and create some cultural, creative products. But this suggestion might not be reasonable because the Palace Museum shop has the backing of the palace, deep cultural accumulation, strong resources, and products always have enough selling points. Moreover, traditional culture has been a cultural hotspot these past few years. and people are eager to try new things. So it's essential to do a thorough analysis of the Palace Museum Taobao shop. What are the reasons for its success? Can these reasons be replicated? Can its popularity last? Things like that. If you make a baseless judgment just because of a random event, your boss will naturally question your lack of rigor. In summary, vertical logic requires that when thinking about proposals, don't assume the other party knows all the details. Carefully explain your considerations, reduce oversimplification, and rigorously investigate. Is there an inevitable causal relationship behind accidental phenomena? Now that we've covered vertical logic, let's move on to horizontal logic. Horizontal logic refers to the whole part relationship, and its key is examining the comprehensiveness of thinking. For example, you submit a proposal thinking City A's coffee retail market is booming, so the company should quickly jump in. If you submit a project application with that mindset, it'll almost certainly get rejected because the thinking isn't comprehensive. To convince the company to enter this market, you need to consider at least four aspects holistically. First, from City A's overall economic development perspective, does the coffee retail industry have good business prospects? Second, looking at price and cost together, is coffee a product that can sustain profitability? Third, from market competition, does the company have enough resources and capabilities to compete with existing coffee brands? Fourth, from the company's own perspective, if entering the coffee retail industry now, is there enough talent and resources? Only with all-around thinking can judgments be accurate. If you only mention one or 2 points when submitting a proposal, that shows a lack of horizontal logic with gaps in thinking. To achieve logical completeness, effective business frameworks can help. For instance, if you're in marketing, master the 5 P's marketing theory. If you're in business strategy planning, remember the 3 C's strategic triangle model. It's like mathematical formulas and physics theorems. Every field has professional framework models that make our thinking more thorough. These are crystallized wisdom from predecessors that we can directly learn and apply. Regarding horizontal logic, the author also highlights a communication skill, ensuring you share the same stance as your audience. This directly determines whether you're dissecting the problem on the same level. Take City A's coffee retail example. Through systematic market research and thorough strategic planning, the company decided to enter this market. As sales director, you propose that product packaging should be innovative and portable. But to the R&D team, this might seem like dissatisfaction with their initial coffee product and packaging. They'd think, we've already done well. Why make changes then? This is when you need to align perspectives and point out, actually, you're both considering users and the market. R&D focuses on coffee recipes and flavor, undeniably correct. But adding insulation features to prevent leaks while keeping it stylish would enhance the user experience. So first acknowledge your shared goals. Then clarify your holistic reasoning to ensure you're dialoguing in the same context. Viewing issues from one dimension builds consensus. All right, that covers logical thinking. When submitting proposals, integrate horizontal and vertical logic to ensure rigor without gaps or redundancy. This makes proposals highly persuasive. However, even the most logical proposals face questions during presentations. For example, after pitching a product plan, someone asks, "So, what price point do you suggest?" Future pricing questions lack definite answers. They require educated guesses. How to make answers accurate and convincing? This requires combining quantitative data, first-hand insights, and third-party perspectives. What does that mean? Quantitative means gathering measurable data, letting numbers speak. When speculating, use data to support views instead of subjective "I feel" judgments. First-hand information means data gathered directly, like salespeople collecting customer info themselves or product details from analytical surveys. This freshly dug up first-hand info is way more trustworthy than secondhand rumors or hearsay. Third party refers to information from sources outside the company. For example, reputable data platforms or reports from big consulting firms. There's solid third party sources. Adding third party info makes conclusions more objective and comprehensive. Answers covering quantitative, firsthand, and third party aspects are much more persuasive. Like that earlier question. So, what price should this product be? And to answer, first show price trends for similar products over the past 3 years. Use real numbers to ballpark a range. Then, share fresh survey data on consumer price expectations. This direct info gives a clear sense of users' spending power. Lastly, include competitors' current prices and base your judgment on these 3 points. Hmm. That way, your suggested price holds up to questioning and convinces people. Of course, to nail that combo of data, direct, and third party, you've got to know the key details cold, the what and the why. Only then are you stocked up with info to handle questions smoothly. That wraps up the first main point. To pass a proposal, use both horizontal and vertical logic to tighten up your thinking, make it crystal clear and easy to grasp. Plus, know the details inside out with data, direct, and third party angles, so the proposal holds up to scrutiny. All right, next up, the second biggie, how to express clearly and get the proposal across smoothly. Usually, proposals get pitched in meetings. You present and hand them over there. So, the author says to explain well, you need two skills. First, designing meetings, and second, crafting business documents. First off, designing meetings. Designing meetings involves two skills: defining the meeting's purpose and aligning with attendees' thinking patterns. Defining the meeting's purpose essentially means clarifying two things. First, what exactly will the meeting discuss? Second, to what depth should the discussion go? For example, if the meeting's purpose is to discuss packaging for next month's coffee product, the final output should go to the design department. Then, this meeting requires representatives from sales, R&D, branding, and other departments to provide relevant input. The input should be specific and clear so that by meeting's end, a written plan can be handed to design colleagues. That's a successful meeting. You might say, we know the meeting's purpose, but we always drift off topic during discussions. How can we avoid going off topic in meetings? The author offers 3 tips. First, inform everyone beforehand about the agenda and relevant info so they come prepared. Second, during the meeting, write on a whiteboard. Constantly display the meeting's purpose to remind everyone of key points. Even if it drifts, you can quickly correct course. Third, only end the meeting after outputting a summary, ensuring desired outcomes are achieved. All right, let's move to the second skill: aligning with attendees' thinking patterns. Attendees could be leaders you're reporting to, clients you're pitching, or colleagues on a joint project. Aligning with their thinking patterns means designing your approach to match how others think, making your points easier to grasp. The author suggests that when prepping, ask yourself 2 questions. First, should I create a plan that's easy to read or easy to listen to? This depends on factors like room size, attendee count, and meeting length. If time is tight and attendees need to take materials for later discussion, then make the plan easy to read. But if the venue is large and you're using a big screen for presentation, then make it easy to listen to. The second question, is my proposal big picture oriented or step-by-step focused? The big picture folks focus on horizontal logic with broad vision. Most managers fall into this category since they're busy and lack time for detailed explanations. If you ramble about background details and analysis, they might impatiently cut in. So what's your point? So in presentations, lead with conclusions, keep it concise, and cover the big picture. Slight logical jumps are acceptable. The step-by-step folks prioritize vertical logic. They care deeply about cause and effect chains. The deeper you go into frontline staff, the more common this type becomes. When pitching to step-by-step folks, avoid macro-level dumps. Instead, reason step-by-step to specifics. Otherwise, they'll resist. This feels abrupt. Shouldn't we discuss conclusions later? Right, that covers designing effective meetings. Next, the second skill for clear expression, crafting business documents. Business docs include PPTs, meeting briefs, product proposals, combining text and visuals for communication. Two main components. Text states conclusions, arguments, and evidence. For text, brevity is king. Two tricks. First, explain each point in 3 sentences. Description, facts, and insights. Example. Here are City A's top 3 coffee brands and prices, all above 30 yuan. Meaning consumers expect takeout coffee around 30 yuan. 3 sentences, one for topic, one for facts, one for insights. Clear and digestible. Second trick, cut fluff, use concise terms, and get straight to the point. For instance, rent is high compared to local properties becomes above market rate, shorter and instantly clearer. Text heavy, slides overwhelm. Add charts since humans process visuals faster. Mix text and images for better understanding. There are generally 2 types of charts. The first is illustrations, like drawings and photos. When introducing a product, you can add its images to deepen the audience's impression. The second is statistical charts, including pie charts, bar charts, and other styles. They primarily display statistical data clearly, making numbers visual and easy to grasp. Once you've made a business text rich in text and images, you need to check it against 4 standards to see if it needs revision. First standard, purpose. Does your text convey a clear argument so people instantly get what you're saying? Second, novelty. Have you introduced a new insight that inspires others? Third, clarity. Have you expressed your points concretely without confusing abstract language? Fourth, directionality. Have you specified what actions to take next so they know what to do after your talk? Many folks struggle here. They've got tons of ideas, but find it hard to put them concisely on a slide. That's totally normal. Crafting business texts is a skill that takes practice. No shortcuts. Just keep practicing and revising. Okay, we've covered the second key point. To summarize, to convey your proposal smoothly, you need 2 skills, meeting design and business document creation. Only by aligning with their logic, keeping meeting essentials in mind, and professionally presenting your text can your proposal pass. So, precise expression. That wraps up this book. The notes are below the audio. See you tomorrow.